Hi, I'm Jim Cheney, Assistant Scoutmaster for Troop 55. Today we're at beautiful Spring Lake in Santa Rosa, California, and I'm going to show you how to pack your backpack. Okay, let's talk a minute about the type of backpack that I'm going to show you. This is an internal frame backpack. It's become very popular in the last few years, and a lot of scouts are carrying them now. There's no aluminum frame for you to hook additional equipment to. You can hook additional equipment to it, but traditionally what we're used to seeing is the big aluminum pack. There's a canvas part where you can fill the interior, and then you attach your sleeping bag to the frame, and your tarp and your sleeping pad. There's all this extra stuff that you attach to the frame. So the frame on this is on the inside, and everything is really designed to be carried inside this pack, although there are a few places where you can attach things. That's not really how the pack's designed. It's meant to carry your load inside the pack. One of the first things you want to notice if you're shopping for a pack is that there's a number on it. Now this is a Gregory, and it's got the number 70. So that's 70 liters. That's how much volume this pack can carry in the pockets on the interior. Again, it's not really designed to have a lot of things attached to the outside. The design of an internal frame pack is to have the load carried inside the bag. Okay, if a 70 is about minimum for an adult, for a youth pack I would go with 50 or greater. Anything less than a 50, you're going to really have a hard time getting your essential gear inside. If you've got a pack for youth that's bigger than a 50, the nice thing about these packs, they're very adjustable. So the scout will grow into a bigger pack, and if it's not filled all the way, there's tons of straps and adjustments so you can tighten the load up so it's centered, and you don't have gear flopping around just in case you don't fill the pack all the way up. So this pack I bought for a couple $100. You can buy them used on Craigslist, on eBay. If you go to the REI used gear sale, I would be willing to bet you could buy the similar pack for under $100. So that's an interior frame pack. Let's move on to how we're going to load it up. Okay, let's take a minute and talk about sleeping bags. This is my favorite sleeping bag in the whole world. It's a Coleman. It's a 20-degree bag. It's super warm. It's rectangular. It's comfy. When my kids were little, we could all get in it, and it was really a great bag. The problem is, this is about as small as you can get it, and this probably would fill up more than half my bag. So it's really not a good bag for backpacking with. So although it's one of my favorite bags, we're not going to take it. I do have a down bag that I use for backpacking. The nice thing about a down bag is that they scrunch up really small, which gives you plenty of room in your bag for other equipment like your tent, your clothes, and food. This happens to be a down bag. It crunches up pretty small. For those of you that don't know, when you're not using your down bag backpacking, you want to have it in a bigger bag. You don't want to keep it like this all the time. It's really bad for the feathers. You're going to decrease the warmth rating of your bag by keeping it compressed. So we just want to compress it for the trip only. When you're packing your backpack the night before, compress it down, pack it in there. But otherwise, you want to keep it in a big bag so it stays nice and fluffy, keeps it locked. I like to put the bag, and most professionals will tell you to put your sleeping bag in your backpack first. With these internal frame backpacks, there's generally a compartment at the very bottom. Where with the external frame backpacks, you used to hang your backpack from the bottom of the pack. So now with these internal frame packs, they give you a zipper at the bottom so you can get to your sleeping bag. The reason we want to put our sleeping bag in the bottom is, generally speaking, it's the last thing you're going to need to pull out when you get to your campsite. There's more important things you're going to want to get to first, like your clothes and your food and your rain gear. So we put, whether you have a zipper pocket down here to get your sleeping bag or not, we're going to put our sleeping bag in first, and then we're going to start building on top of it. The next thing that I would put is my tent. Now, not all scouts carry a tent because they have a tent buddy. So maybe you're carrying the tent, maybe you're not. If you're carrying the tent, what I do is I scooch this big compressed sleeping bag off to one side, and I slide my tent right in next to it. So my tent, I can feel the bottom of my tent right here. This is the bottom of the bag. My sleeping bag's a little bit off center. And then we're going to start taking some of this other stuff, we're going to start packing around it. Okay, let's start filling in our backpack around our tent and our sleeping bag. So I've got this little pillow that I bring with me. It's actually probably bigger than a lot of backpackers carry, but sleeping's so important to me that I do bring a little bit of an extra pillow. And this is the foundation for my sleep system. I stuff this inside my polar fleece sweatshirt or I'll use my scout vest, and I'll stuff this full of extra clothes, and I'll have a pretty nice, comfortable pillow. So we'll put that in there. Now I'm going to start packing my extra clothes. I'm not going to need my extra clothes while I'm actually on the trail. I'll have a sweater and some rain gear accessible on the top of my pack, but my extra clothes, my extra t-shirt, my extra socks, I'm going to put in pretty deep in my pack. What I see a lot of people do is they just kind of stuff their pack full of their clothes. If you take one tip away from this video, this is what I recommend. You go to the store, you get a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and a 2-gallon Ziploc bag, and you divide your clothes up in Ziploc bags. This is one pair of underpants, a t-shirt, and 2 pairs of socks. When I pull these out of the bag, out of my backpack, they're nice and organized. This is 1 pair of thermal underwear. They're labeled in case something happens to me or someone needs to borrow some of my equipment. They don't have to go pull all my stuff out looking for my thermal underwear. They can pull out these bags. Oh, thermal underwear. The other thing that I really recommend you do, and parents are going to love me for saying this and scouts are going to hate me, but you really need to fold this stuff up because you fold it up and then you sit on it and you can burp the bag, and you can get these to be really compact. Now, this has got the same clothing in it that this does, but I just stuffed it in there. And this is so much more bulky. So folding your clothes really makes a big difference. And when you've got limited space, you got a lot of stuff to bring, you're going to appreciate how organized this stuff is, because it's going to save you a lot of space, which means you need to bring more things, or it'll just be easier to use what you got. So I've got an extra synthetic t-shirt, 2 pairs of socks. I bring 2 pairs of socks. Now I'm wearing a pair, so really I have 3 pair. So I have a fresh pair to change into, and then 1 pair is a thermal pair in case it gets really cold. They're big and fluffy. I don't really plan on wearing the fluffy pair unless the temperature drops down or I'm cold in my sleep bag. So I've got them. So we'll put those in. Those lay nice and flat. So what I'm going to put in next is the stuff that's used for cooking. I don't really have a lot of food here to show you, but I've got some trail food and actually enough food for myself to survive for several days with some soup and some oatmeal. So I'm going to put that in next, and my cooking system, my mess kit. Right now I'm about here on my backpack, so I'm about 2/3 full, and my jet boil. Now this could be a whole separate video, whether to bring a jet boil or whether to buy a whisper stove. All I can tell you is that all you need is hot water. The jet boil is the way to go. If you're going to do extensive cooking and you're going to simmer rice, or you're going to need to cook items that need to be heated up for a certain amount of time, then you're going to want a whisper stove. So I think for this trip I'm going to bring my whisper stove, and this is really important. the fuel for the Whisper stove is going to go on the outside of the backpack. I don't want this white gas leaking on my clothes, leaking on my fuel, on my food, or getting on my expensive down sleeping bag. So we're going to put this in the exterior pocket, and this is going to be the case whether you have an internal frame pack or an external frame pack. I'm going to put my jet boil away.